Hi everyone, welcome back to Daily Freddo. Everyone is holding their breaths as the hours pass from the moment the Ocean Gate Titanic submarine lost contact with the team on the surface. The submarine, or rather submersible, had 96 hours of oxygen at the time of deployment. Now, at the time I'm filming this update for you, we are almost at the final hour of that estimation. Apparently, the CEO of Ocean Gate put inclusivity and representation above the safety of the sub and its passengers. He didn't want to hire an experienced white guy because that wouldn't be inspirational enough. Oh, and of course Cardib is putting herself in the middle there. Yep, you heard that right. Hi guys, I'm gonna interrupt this intro. As we were editing this story, we received the newest and really final updates about the submersible. We know now that there was a fatal implosion that took the lives of all the passengers. And I will speak about all those circumstances in the second half of this episode. I will also include James Cameron comments about the situation. However, a lot has happened since Sunday, so let's go back to the episode and all the information we had at the time of filming it, as it's important to the story. Let me give you a quick summary of what has been happening since Sunday. There are 5 passengers on board of the Titan, which is the name of the submarine. The CEO and founder of Ocean Gate Expeditions, Stockton Rush, British billionaire explorer Hamish Harding, renowned French diver Paul-Henri Nargolet, and Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood, and his 19-year-old son Suleiman Dawood. Those people went into the submarine voluntarily, not on a scientific or historical mission, but as a tourist attraction. Of course, it's an adventure only very wealthy Titanic enthusiasts can afford. This adventure cost $250,000 per person. So what happened to the submarine? It might have already imploded from the pressure of the depths of the ocean, so the people on it could unfortunately be already gone. It could also have been lost somewhere on the surface. The big problem here is that in any of those cases, even if the sub is found on time before the oxygen runs out, the chances of saving the passengers are about 1%. Here is a great rundown of what happened.
A small 5-person private submarine designed to take high net worth individuals down to see the Titanic wreckage for $250,000 a pop is lost somewhere at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean with air running out. The Ocean Gate submersible lost contact just an hour and 45 minutes into the expedition, and they say it has 96 hours of life support and oxygen aboard the craft. However, they took off 2 days ago, so you're looking at about 50-something hours left to get these people back to the surface. This is what the inside of the submarine looks like. This is where they say they fit up to 5 people. This is what it looks like with 4 people, which is absolutely fucking crazy. Going down to the bottom of the ocean inside of a tin can with this many people crammed into a floating coffin that has no connection to the surface, no ship above you, no cables, no nothing. You gotta be absolutely out of your goddamn mind. And the craziest thing about this whole fiasco, this is what they use to control the ship, a PlayStation controller. And the only thing you can see is on a TV screen.
We have our control screen here, our sonar screen here, and we can put any image we want in the back. And a completely new approach to the sub design, and it's all run with this game controller, and it's Bluetooth, so I can hand it to anybody. And it's meant for a 16-year-old to throw it around and super durable.
You're telling me this whole expedition runs on Bluetooth? I can't even connect my headphones to my phone when it's in my pocket. You guys are gonna go
If the sub is found at the bottom of the sea, there aren't really any tools to bring it back up to the surface. Mind you, the people in there are bolted in. The exit is literally bolted from the outside, so if they are stranded somewhere on the surface, they are unable to get out of there. Basically, they designed it only to perform submersions. No safety features, no way to get out. So there is a special aircraft that's been performing a surface search over the past few days that's also equipped with subsurface acoustic detection. And this airplane detected banging noises in 30 minutes intervals coming from the area of the sub's last known location. They say that it could be the passengers trying to make contact with the search teams, trying to let them know that they're still alive, hopefully. This is what the aircraft recorded, supposedly, coming from the lost submarine. This is so chilling. On social media sites on Wednesday, Commentary ranged from despair at the Titan occupants' plight to incredulity that anyone would want to embark on a risky mission in a small, cramped vessel. Some people expressed frustration that the tourist voyage had received such an expensive rescue operation, while bigger boat tragedies with less prominent passengers, such as the deadly wreck of a fishing boat carrying hundreds of migrant passengers near Greece last week, failed to rally the same public outcry. I see the point of those comments, but look, people on the submarine have followers, they are known, so obviously them doing an experimental, dangerous thing like that will be heavily publicized. Like I said, people all over the world are following what's happening with the Ocean Gate submersible. On our side of the world, the Greeks are mostly upset about the amount of money that was spent on this stupid trip. Really indicative of the current economic situation. Here are some of the comments. Πήγανε να δούνε το ναυάγιο του Τιτανικού και το ζήσανε. They went to see the shipwreck of Titanic and they lived it. Ο Θεός με φύλαξε που δεν έχω λεφτά. God bless me that I don't have money. The comments seem cold-hearted, but I think in our times it's just how people cope with news like that. I also get an impression that yes, there is a lot of judgment around those 5 passengers' decision to risk their lives like that in a barely tested metal tin operated on Bluetooth. I know I'm simplifying it, but really, some things we decide to do in life are not very smart, and trusting this adventure was definitely not a smart decision. That brings my point to Cardib. Yeah, the most unexpected name I think to appear in this story. She criticized the behavior of one of the billionaire's stepsons who decided to make an appearance at the Blink 182 concert while the whole world is waiting for news about his stepfather trapped in the ocean. This is what she had to say.
That's missing on the water from that submarine shit. One of the billionaires, their stepson, is at a concert, right? At a Blink 182 concert. And people is like, well, what is he supposed to do? Be sad at the house? Is he supposed to go look for himself? Yes. You're supposed to be at the house sad. You're supposed to be crying for me. You're supposed to be right next to the phone waiting to hear any updates about me. You're supposed to be counseling your mom and shit. Like, isn't it sad that you a whole fucking billionaire and nobody gives a fuck about you? Like you missing and motherfuckers is ready to shake at concert. That's crazy. I'd rather be broke. I'd rather be broke than and poor, but knowing that I'm loved.
So she also wrote on Twitter, the point was the whole world is praying for these people in the submarine, and this man's son is online shaking for girls off OnlyFans and going to Blink 182 concerts. You was looking for clout all along. Nobody knew who you were until you said that was your stepdad. This is why people hate you spoiled brat billionaires. You're all so desensitized. Please don't make memes of me reading this tweet. So anyway, he responded, Shaz, I think, responded on Twitter tagging the rapper and writing, "What a post-trashy celeb. Cardi B trying to get clout off me and my family's suffering. I went to a Blink 182 concert for coping, rather than sitting at home and watching the news. Shame on you, Cardi, get some class." I really don't want to spend too much time on this story, but there are some comments. Thank God Cardi B had some thoughts on the matter. I think I can speak for everyone and say the world is a little more relieved now. Okay. If my billionaire father was stuck in a sub at the bottom of the ocean, I would be out partying too, cause I'm about to get paid. She's not wrong, alright? Think what you want about Cardi B, but in this case, she's not wrong. It's maybe the delivery is a little bit questionable, but I agree with her. Out of respect for your family, you should be sitting at home, or at least keeping it low-key and shut the f*** up. Anyway, he has since deleted his Twitter account after receiving backlash for some older racist tweets, of course. But the biggest topic of discussion at the moment is how the creators of the Titan handled safety concerns. We have this recording of the CEO speaking and admitting to not hiring the best person for the job, experienced white man, but making sure they onboard a person who will be more inspiring to Gen Zs, because that's the most important, to look cool to Gen Z crowd. Take a listen.
Yes, I mean, when I started the business, one of the things you'll find, there are other sub-operators out there, but they typically have gentlemen who are ex-military submariners, and you'll see a whole bunch of 50-year-old white guys. I wanted our team to be younger, to be inspirational, and I'm not going to inspire a 16-year-old to go pursue marine technology. But a 25-year-old, who's a sub-pilot or a platform operator, one of our techs, can be inspirational. And so we've really tried to get very intelligent, motivated, younger individuals involved, because we're doing things that are completely new. We're taking approaches that are used largely in the aerospace industry is related to safety and some of the preponderance of checklists, things we do for risk assessments and things like that are more aviation related than ocean related. And we can train people to do that. We can train someone to pilot the sub. We use a game controller, so anybody can drive the sub.
This shit is unbelievable. Anyway, look at how the CEO speaks about the project, how much emphasis he puts at it being so easy to drive that it should be a kid's play. His priorities were not in the right place and freaking shows.
An experimental submersible vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. Where do I sign?
Oh, take your shoes off, that's customary.
Okay. Wow. Inside, the sub has about as much room as a minivan.
So this is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button, that's it. It should be like an elevator. You know, it shouldn't take a lot of skill.
The Titan is the only 5-person sub in the world that can reach Titanic depths, 2.4 miles below the sea. It's also the only one with a toilet, sort of. And yet, I couldn't help noticing how many pieces of this sub seemed improvised.
We can use these off-the-shelf components. I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on!
I like how it was a joke in the video. I like how there was laughter and it's like, oh my god, you got this at Home Depot? Oh my god, this is a, remote for gameplay. And there was no safety measures. Let's just agree to that, okay? Interestingly enough, wife of missing Ocean Gate CEO is descendant from Titanic victims. She's a descendant of first-class passenger Isidor Strauss, who refused to take a seat on the lifeboat when women and children were still waiting to get off the sinking ship. He was joined by his wife Ida, who would not leave his side. So you remember that scene from Titanic where the old couple is in bed and waiting for their fate to come and take them? Yeah. Those characters were based on this couple. So isn't that poetic? American media made it even more dramatic than it has to be. And one of the news channels, I'm not joking, put out a countdown on the screen, okay? Here you go. Oxygen remaining, 6 hours, 18 minutes, 59 seconds. People were quick to turn to Twitter over News Nation's approach, with one writing, "That's insane. They really have no shame." And another one, "They counting down like it's the Super Bowl, man. What the f***?" I can't imagine what those people have gone through. As I mentioned before, right now, at the time of filming this video, we are at the final estimated hour of the submarine's oxygen supply. But because it's been so long and they still haven't been found, the outcome unfortunately seems pretty clear right now. However, French ROV has been deployed. The US Coast Guard confirmed the French remotely operated vehicle, La Talente, which has the capacity to lift Titan to the surface, has been deployed. So apparently this vehicle can go deeper than where Titanic is, and they suspect that that's where the submarine is stuck. 5 passengers are at the extreme limits for their oxygen. Retired Rear Admiral Chris Perry told Sky News that the chances of survival for the Titan crew at this point are vanishingly small. Mr. Perry said that 5 men are at the extreme limits for their oxygen, and even if the submersible were found now, it would take time to bring it to the surface to release them. "I'm afraid it is very gloomy indeed," he said. So as mentioned at the beginning, we were editing this episode when we received the latest updates on the submersible. After a days-long massive search for a Titanic-bound submersible that captured international attention, US authorities announced the vessel had suffered a catastrophic implosion. And new information from a US Navy source helps shed light on when that disaster may have unfolded. All 5 people aboard the submersible, known as the Titan, were killed. The US Coast Guard said in a Thursday news conference. The tail cone and other debris from the missing submersible were found by a remotely operated vehicle about 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic, which rests about 13,000 feet deep in the North Atlantic Ocean. So it is believed that the implosion took place on Sunday, around the time they lost contact with the passengers. A senior Navy official told CNN the Navy detected an acoustic signature consistent with an implosion on Sunday in the general area where the vessel was diving, and lost communication with its mothership. And as for the sounds recorded earlier, which we hoped were the trapped passengers trying to make contact with the search crew, it is believed those were either just natural sounds of the ocean, the shipwreck, or some of the rescue team tools. This story literally consumed the whole world. which for 5 days stood still in hope that 5 people will be found alive. I'm so sorry for their families and friends for their loss. It's truly tragic. However, the talks about lack of safety protocols of the submersible continue. James Cameron, the director of the legendary movie Titanic, compared Ocean Gate's lack of certification protocols to his Titanic deep exploration vessel. He himself descended to the depths of the ocean and saw Titanic live 33 times. He says there are big similarities in how the captain of the Titanic and CEO of the Ocean Gate handled safety concerns coming from the experts. Take a listen.
This is a mature art, and many people in the community were very concerned about this sub, and a number of the top players in the deep submergence engineering community even wrote letters to the company saying that what they were doing was too experimental to carry passengers and that needed to be certified and so on. So I'm struck by the similarity of the Titanic disaster itself, where the captain was repeatedly warned about ice ahead of his ship, and yet he steamed at full speed into an ice field on a moonless night, and many people died as a result. And for a very similar tragedy where warnings went unheeded to take place at the same exact site, with all the diving that's going on all around the world, I think it's just astonishing. It's really quite surreal.
Anyway, that's all the information we have for now. I will keep you guys updated here and in the stories on my Instagram. You can follow me at Daily Freddo. And if you enjoy my content, check out some more videos here and subscribe to my channel here to never miss any new episodes of Daily Freddo. That's all for today. Have a good one.
Experimental submersible vessel that has not been approved or certified and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma.